Welcome to Random Encounters, where we roll a d20 and come and talk about a random topic on our list. The list is displayed for you that are watching this with video. I'm here with
Q
and
Tim Tuttle with Sword and Board Painting.
There we go. So let's pull out. Yeah, let's pull out the big D20s.
He hit us with that Anchorman style, like this is Tim Tuttle with Sword and Board Painting.
We want this evil one. I like this evil one.
All right.
I agree. We've also been told that the black one's the evil one.
I like it.
Oh.
They also say the dice is nice.
All right, and we've got a little rolling area here where people can see the die on screen. So, Tim, since you're our guest here, why don't you give us a roll?
Open us up, man.
Give it a little shot. All right, we got a 17.
Villains that would make better heroes.
Yeah. So,
Talked a bit about that. That's one of the ones we had fun with Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With that, I mean, the first one that comes to mind would probably be Lex Luthor. But thinking about other villains that would make good heroes, really. It's one big one. He's kind of a villain, but I've always loved his storyline. They show him as both a villain and an anti-hero. Would be Atrocitus, the Red Lantern.
I know the character. Oh, what? Too loud?
Yeah.
Mike right in front of you, man.
But yeah, no, Atrocitus. I mean, he was wronged so many times, so he has this perfect backstory to begin with, and then he is just really out for vengeance more than anything else. And he's always portrayed as a bad guy, simply because he's just running around the galaxy killing everything, leading up these Red Lanterns. But in some of the new storylines, he has to battle against some of the other Red Lanterns to keep them in control, and it's more of him doing his best to contain all of the rage from the Red Lanterns.
That's one I would have never thought of. So
I've actually researched it because I was wondering. I thought of a cool idea that I don't know if they've done. I think I might have seen somewhere where it's like, which lantern are you? So I started studying the rings. And yes, the red rings are about rage, but the rings are given to people that have been wronged.
Mm-hmm.
And while, of course, being rage ring, they kind of get out of control with it. They're generally kind of like the crow.
Yeah.
It's like, I've come back from the dead for vengeance. I've been brought back to life.
Right.
Not really dead, because that's the black ring. And they're seeking vengeance. And I have actually noticed in the Injustice games, they started covering that.
Yep.
Where Atrocitus will literally, in his storyline, be like, I've got to make sure that we don't become the bad guys.
Right.
And he's trying to make sure the others don't get out of hand. And that was just really cool. So that's why I was just like, wow, I literally was reading up on the Red Ring, and I was like, the Red Ring's not as villainous as portrayed. I mean, they're extremists in their methods. I mean, these are the Punisher, not the Batman.
Yeah,
These are Punisher-style vengeance seekers.
I mean,
with collateral. They do have collateral. That's
pretty
the problem
much
with being a rage ring. It's collateral.
Pretty much all the other rings, they use different versions of light, and the Red Lanterns all use their own blood as to form different things. It's boiling blood that goes inside of them to use to create their manifestations. So they're not good. But yeah, they definitely have some potential for being good guys, I guess.
Geek Spot 2, the only rings that are capable of stopping a Black Lantern without needing to use more than one ring. They're capable of doing enough damage to keep the Black Lantern down, which is impressive because it's literally not possible by anyone else.
Nope.
Like you either got to have the power of light, which takes 2 rings, or that be your special power, or you've got to just be a Red Lantern and angry enough. And I just thought it's awesome that it's like, or you're a Red Lantern.
Yeah.
The other option is just be a Red Lantern and just go bleh.
Yep.
Lava blood.
Yeah, I've never actually been big into the Lantern series. I don't know a lot about the different lanterns. So.
Enough, believe it or not, Green Lantern never appealed to me, but the expanded universe of all the rings, not the other characters, I'm sorry, Antimon and all that, don't, but just the rings themselves are awesome. Yeah, the people that wear them suck.
Yeah. Most of what generally speaking,
most of what I got from the Lanterns have all been from the animated series that had them. So
they never. I hate to say that, but I've never been impressed with it. DC, normally very good, has yet to present to me a good animated Lantern.
I don't know. The one I watched, I can't remember what it was called, but it seemed it was interesting. It had several of the different types of lanterns and
their choice of backdrops, I think, what takes away from it. They don't do the really exotic locales. They tend to do a lot of we're floating in space, which is so dull.
Yeah.
It's like the lanterns, to me, a lantern cartoon should actually be more like a Star Wars Old Republic.
Yeah.
Interesting interactions with different races on different planets and cultures, not just glowing people floating in space. You know you can make any outfit you want. You don't have to do the crappy onesie.
No.
You literally can make any outfit.
Why don't you give us a roll, Q?
All right, so we get to keep going. So anyway, my favorite ring. Oh, sorry.
Let's not do the same one
17.
Again. Yeah.
All right,
15.
I need a list.
Why do you need the list, man? You should have this memorized. Game character highlight. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is one where we talk about one of my favorite characters. Oddly enough, this is an offshoot of what I was about to talk about, the Black Lantern ring. Instead, I'll just roll into my favorite character. Mortis, as you are very familiar with, is one of my... Oh, wait, are it supposed to be video game characters or one of our favorite characters?
I mean, I think it tends to be video game characters.
Oh, sorry. I'm about to get into one of my originals.
But we do what we want, dude. So if you want to talk about Mortis, talk about Mortis.
I
don't
say
care.
that for a better day.
Okay.
Say that for a better day. All right, so favorite video game character. You know what? As lazy as it may seem, I'm going to go with the most recent one that's been on by the dad of boy, a.k.a. God of War, Kratos. Specifically, the new Kratos. I don't know. You familiar with the new God of War?
I just got it the other day.
Oh.
No. You're good. You're good. It's been spoiled to me, so it's
okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's not spoil too much.
Well, I'm not going to spoil it, but I mean, I actually wasn't. I'm mainly going to talk about the fact that Kratos in this game, some people have went at Kratos saying that Kratos, he's a bad dad, and I think that people are very wrong because Kratos, if you know from God of War, was a rage machine. Vengeance-seeking, butt-kicking, God-slaying guy. Graves is a Spartan. You don't know what that means? Go watch 300. You'll get an idea. All right? Now, you look at the new game, an older Kratos raising a kid. This guy is an incredibly good dad because given what he's been through and his personality, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of maturity. I mean, he's raising this kid in the freaking woods. If you've even started the game, you know that, like, oh, around the corner, Draugr, just undead. The undead all in the woods. So it's like, yeah, he's tough on the boy. But, I mean, I think the character has evolved into a new incarnation that is good. Because you can mess that up. We've seen it, you know, like when they tried to redo Dante. Oh, God. Goth emo Dante. You know, skinny jeans Dante.
Yeah, no, I try to forget that.
Yeah, I like to remind people because the suffering needs to be shared. So I like the new Kratos. I feel that you see a guy who completed what he had to do and is now just trying not to repeat his mistakes. And it's really an incredible second gen, another incarnation of the character is older, that for the first time I was really pleased with. Because a lot of times when they go back and they bring back a character and they go, here's the older version, it's a disappointment. Not this time. This was a great character who evolved into a way that I didn't see coming, but I'm happy with, and that's a rare combo.
All right.
No, any comments?
I have not.
Haven't played it yet to see, but yeah, I mean it makes sense with everything that I've heard so far. So,
I mean, I've played the old Kratos, but I haven't done anything since he's had a son. So, I'm still trying to borrow that game so I don't have to pay for it.
My first thought when I saw the trailers for the new God of War way back when they first started coming out was like, who would give him another son after what happened to his original family?
That's covered.
But
that is that. Don't worry. Play through the game. It is actually covered.
So.
Because I also went like, really? Mm-hmm. Then it's like, oh, okay, she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. 10. If that person was a tabletop character, I forget what this topic was about now. Do you remember?
You came up with that.
Huh? Did I? I don't know.
I mean, I think that's where
that person was a tabletop character.
It sounds like you take a person, either a well-known individual or possibly one of the guests, and then you go, what would you be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is what it sounds like. For example, we have a special guest sitting next to us, and I may just be trying to throw everything on him. But you know,
Sure,
if he was going to say what type of tabletop character would he be?
Merchant.
Yeah, no.
Painter.
Okay. Rephrasing that with
NPC.
if he had a choice.
Right. If I had a choice, you know, it's funny with all the games that I play and everything like that, I do my best to try and move away from what I feel like I would be. And, you know, make something that, you know, since I'm going to be role playing, I want to play something different than who I am. But one of the neatest things that we did was I had in one game that we played, I had all of my players make their character completely based on themselves.
Yeah,
their own personal job and who they would think that they would be. And I think for me, I would probably, like, if I had a choice, I'd probably be more of a fighter more than anything else. Even though I'd love to cast spells and everything along those lines, but I think a fighter would make more sense, more along like the what's that that subclass of fighter where they are basically like the battle master, you know, going around and it's like, okay, now I'm going to use my action to make you go and attack this guy. And
tacticians, warlords, yeah.
I mean, and Blood Axe, because Q was working on turning real life into tabletop. I actually do remember discussing that, and I think that may have been where this originally popped up. I mean, I think every DM who has DM'd for a while has probably at one point done the make yourself as a character, because I mean it is a fun time to do every once in a while. And Blood Axe says he'd be Hot Rod from D20 Modern.
The vehicle guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Blood Axe, if he could. Basically, my game concept, now I remember where this come from. Thanks, man. Was I've been reading a lot of lit RPGs. And one of the favorite ones we read is where it's you and all of a sudden the lit RPG apocalypse happened when effectively the world gets infused with magic. And now people are able to pick a class and then start gaining abilities. And I actually am building a game. I bought the Genesis system. Is one of the ones I'm looking at. And I even sent to people like Xeno and Blood Axe. I said, all right, you just got a pop-up screen in front of you saying your first level, pick your class, and start going. And he came back with Hot Rod and some really cool choices. I think the funniest answer to that question, if I'd have rolled it, is that I know what I'd want to be, but I know what I would be if it was a survival scenario, and that kind of annoys me. They're the opposite. You know that if I have a choice, I'd want to be a powerhouse. Physical, high strength, high speed powerhouse. Lightning bruiser if you're a troper. But where my skill set is I'm a minion mancer. It's my best skill set. I've terrified my DMs and literally gotten classes barred from my minion mancing level of skills.
Yeah.
Just like... They're just like, no, you can't play a summoner. No, you can't play a necromancer. Yeah. And so if I had to pick, I would do what I'm best at, which means I'd minion.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who's been watching this for a while knows I go by Xenodamus, and Xenodamus came from my ideal character, like the character that I love being the most, and that's my mage. I've always loved playing a mage, and depending on the system, like I haven't played Xenodamus in a current system in a while because the rules just haven't been there to make them the way that I like having Xenodamus. But Mage is always close at heart with me when picking a character and trying to do something. Utility Mage, to be specific, you know, I've always liked the comforts in life that you can bring by being a magic user.
We call it quality of life magic.
Yeah. Yeah, I like quality of life magic. So there you go. That's pretty much my.
And as tempting as Mage is for exactly what you just said, like I said, but I hate it. Every time I sit down, I realize, especially reading these RPGs, that I'm the minion guy. I'm that guy who's either crafting, raising, or summoning things, and then strategically utilizing them.
All right, so let's get one last topic here. We got two options. We have Tim's wife sitting over in the corner, who is welcome to get up and roll a die if she wants, or we can have Google roll it. All right, here we go.
I'm gonna make Google
that's
jealous.
Fine. That's fine. All right. Okay, she rolls just like her husband. She also rolled a 17.
Effort. There you go.
Let's get that one more time
on the same
here.
page, man. That's what I'm talking about.
right, 14. There we go.
All right, cool.
Let's come over here. And 14 is miniatures or
That's
not.
Cool. Yeah, good job.
So this is this is a topic that we just added specifically because we're like, we got a miniatures guy on here. Let's make sure to add something for miniatures. And Q actually just recently had a game where they were just they're not using miniatures, and it was a discussion that came up. Is using miniatures the best way, or is not, or does it? Is it fun both ways? I gamed for many, many years without ever touching a miniature. And I think sometimes miniatures can bog down the game when not done, I guess, right. You got to, but at the same time, it also gives you a visualization that stops a lot of arguing, especially when it comes to flanking and using cover and stuff like that. Miniatures, I think, help a lot there. So I think at some point it just has to be a way of maybe you don't have to use miniatures all the time. If it's a quick battle, I'm probably not going to worry about setting up the miniatures and getting everything terrain-wise set up. Where if this is an epic battle and you think it's going to drag out, I think miniatures are perfect to keep things understood. Also, we've had where if it's a long enough battle, people have to go. You can take a quick snapshot of the grid and where everybody is, so you can set it right back up and sort of get right back where you left off without being, was I over here or was I? Nope, we've got a picture and it's set up. So I think there's good and bad points on both. I think I've grown to prefer miniatures though, just because I like the visualization.
I think personally, there's a bunch of factors that go into it.
Mm-hmm.
First off, what you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're playing World of Darkness, there's no need for miniatures whatsoever. In fact, it's better without miniatures because it's all playing on the horror aspect of it. And, literature has proven it multiple times that if you're reading something that describes something scary, as opposed to watching it and seeing what someone has already decided, your mind is going to come up with something way more terrifying than what you'd actually see.
Yeah, I can definitely see horror. If you're doing a horror game, maybe even Ravenloft.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe miniatures aren't needed for that extra horror factor.
You're wrong.
But if there's any point where there's going to be tactical aspects to the battling, or even if there's an intense dungeon crawl, where you need to know like traps and setup and different things along those lines, I highly recommend miniatures.
Oh no, I used to love we had a buddy who would occasionally throw like an all-nighter game, and he would have an entire table set up that's like 5x8. And he would have the entire dungeon mapped out, have it all covered up, encounters and everything's already set up. And as you go through the dungeon, uncovering it, like that dungeon crawl miniature. Yep. Oh man, that is awesome.
Blood Axe is a former Ravenloft DM, and you already made one of my points, which is for certain games the visualization's better in their head, but when it comes to miniatures for Ravenloft, absolutely necessary. But there's a reason.
Okay.
Ravenloft's system specifically manages to put that threat level on certain creatures that there is nothing more terrifying when you have a actual appropriate figurine.
Oh yeah, that's
like
true.
A werewolf. For us, especially werewolves. Werewolves and vampires are horrifying because they can level drain and they can give you lycanthropy.
Yeah.
And the moment that you have a werewolf put next to your non-frontliner, you are panicking until you get a bunch of squares in between it. And I remember that repeatedly. Flanking in normal D&D or Pathfinder, not a big deal. Getting flanked in Ravenloft used to be nightmare fuel. But especially because the fun thing that our boy Blood Axe did, on top of having the screaming grass he's referencing, every time you step on the grass it screams, was the famous, you set up the scene and then you roll spot checks, and it's just when he goes, all right, and then he places a figurine right next to you, and you're like, where'd it come from?
Yeah,
the monk mummy was wrong, Blood Axe. You shouldn't bring that back up. You don't give monk levels to a mummy.
That's similar to something that I do even in my games now. I got Reaper actually makes a really cool miniature in their Bones lines that's not very expensive of Cthulhu. And I got it, painted it all up, and I just bring it to my D&D games and sit it right next to my my DM screen, and they'll never know whether or not Cthulhu is going to show up or not. And but no, that's the other aspect of it is similar to what you're talking about, because especially if you're a new DM, because new DMs, you may have a bit more trouble describing what things look like, and if you have an accurate, like, really cool looking miniature that you can be like, yeah, so stepping from around the corner is this guy, and everybody's like, oh, whoa, that's awesome.
Like if you have a stone giant that has been badassly painted, and
absolutely,
because this guy has a name and has class levels. That is class levels. You don't get that good looking and well done. This is not Stone Giant #1. This is Gragnock, the PC Stomper.
That's
a new name.
With his
Stomper.
with his bone Stomper. Armor, and
it's a custom
made
class
out of low level PCs. You didn't know when to run. Especially because our boy here, whose eyes are a little bit off at times, he'll go, "It's large," and then he places a gargantuan figurine, and I'm like, "That's not large." He's like, "No, that's one." Oh, no, that. I'm like, yeah. But no, especially size does it. But I bought a bunch of vampire figurines that look like they're out of friggin' like Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah.
And every time everybody sees those vampires, they're like, that is not a spawn. I'm like, no.
Nope.
Well, no, I
mean, throw that down next to someone, and it's just like it's literally got the flowing cape and the wind model. They all of a sudden.
I definitely say for new players too, when it comes to that size category, when you have that gargantuan dragon, and they're just like, oh, it's a big dragon, and then you sit their miniature down, and then you go and pull the gargantuan dragon out of your closet because it doesn't fit anywhere else, and sit it down on the table, and they're like, oh crap, I'm the size of his fingernail.
Yeah, and you got to watch out for that oddly new dragon, the Graygantuan. I never heard of the Graygantuan dragon. I don't even know if that's a chromatic. The Graygantuan?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You were saying Graygantuan.
I said gargantuan.
Did you? Oh, man, I liked it. I heard gray, and I just visualized this new category of dragon.
You should clean out your ears.
No, I like the new dragon, though.
It's a new form of Dracolich.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a new form of Dracolich.
Yeah. Blood Axe. Then draw a red line for its reach.
Don't do that. That's wrong. No, I have had a DM put it in the middle of the table, and the person's like, I take a 5-foot step back, and we're like, dude, the room's not big enough.
Nope.
But what we like to do to mess with people is our particular big dragon, one of them has the claw like this, and whenever it gets used as snatch or grapple, we actually place their figurine in the claw, and just the panic on the person's face as the rest of the party's like, and it's just got them, and they're just like, oh crap. You know what I need now? I got a new idea. You might be able to make this figurine. Buy a gelatinous cube.
Yep.
Cut the top out and hollow it out, so you can drop players in the gelatinous.
Oh,
cube.
yeah.
I don't know why no one's done that. That's freaking awesome.
That would be pretty amazing.
I've actually seen hollow gelatinous cubes.
Oh, man. Okay, well. Anyway.
Just turn it over and just set it over the miniature.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that exists.
Oh, okay. Well, you can make your own line.
I can. That's true. That's true.
I want
custom colors. Yeah.
There you go. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap up this episode of Random Encounters. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and check out Sword and Board Gaming Painting. Yeah.
Yep. Sword and Board Painting.
Sword and Board Painting on Facebook
look out
and Instagram.
For the new Graygantuan dragon he's going to paint. It's
that's
right.
Be
awesome.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Put a wizard hat on it because
horrible.
I'm thinking of what's his name from Forgotten Realms. There's one of the wizards known as the Gray, isn't there? Is that Mordecai or is that Blackstaff?
I don't remember.
I think it's Blackstaff.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching.